Hello, my name's Hope and I'm 34 years old. A lot has happened in the past few months, and now that everything's been dealt with, I figured I could come here to talk about it, so buckle up. This is going to be a journey. Let me begin by telling you about my first husband, Brad. Brad and I were high school sweethearts. We began dating in our sophomore year and dated until we graduated college, which was when we decided to elope and get married. Now, I know I was reckless. I was young and stupid and in love. That is literally my only defense. Things were great until Brad began struggling with his work. He got laid off from the first job he got out of college and then struggled to find a new one. I tried my best to help him out, but he only got worse. It did not help that I was doing really well at my job and I was already up for a promotion. Brad then resorted to drinking every single day. At some point, I could no longer see the floor of my house because there were bottles and cans everywhere. I tried my best to be gentle and understanding, but it was getting harder with every day that passed. Brad stopped trying to search for a job, and suddenly we were dependent on only my pay to make ends meet. So of course I had to work harder, and that hard work paid off, and I finally got my promotion. That made Brad lose his mind even more. He resorted to taking his anger out on me physically. Every day I'd have to use a lot of makeup to cover some new bruise or the other. I stayed with him only because I loved him, and I believed that he was just going through a rough patch. Finally, one day things got worse, and the neighbors called the police because they had heard a lot of screaming from our place. When the police walked in, they saw me lying unconscious on the couch. Brad was arrested and charged with domestic abuse. I knew after that I couldn't continue to stay with him, so I filed for divorce. Brad didn't make it easy, and I lost almost everything in that divorce. But as soon as it was finalized, I fled from my state in an effort to protect myself. I left my dream job and all my friends and family to move to a state on the other side of the country. I was distraught at first, but I eventually learned to love my new life. I got a better paying job and made new friends. My family would come visit me every few months, and life was going great. About 4 years after I left Brad, I met my current husband, Elliot. We met thanks to some mutual friends, and we hit it off well. He was a smart and very caring man. Of course, I had my reservations, and I made it clear to him why, but he was very accommodating and patient with me. Everything we did was done at the pace that I wanted, and let me tell you, that was such a relief. If there was one drawback, it was that Elliot's mother, Celia, absolutely hated my guts for some reason. She had always been super passive-aggressive towards me, but only whenever Elliot wasn't around. I never said a word towards Elliot because I knew how much he looked up to her, and I didn't want to be the reason that his relationship with her would get damaged. I was willing to live with her bullying until one day, when we went over to her place for dinner, and for the first time she was openly hostile towards me in front of Elliot. Elliot was so caught off guard that he barely reacted to anything she was saying. I just kept my mouth shut the entire dinner, and when we finally left, Elliot was quiet. I decided to start a conversation because I was worried about what was going on through his mind. That was awkward. Yeah, I don't know why she was behaving that way. I'm so sorry for that. No. You've done nothing wrong. Besides, this isn't the first time that she's treated me this way. It isn't? Well, it is the first time that she was openly hostile towards me in front of you, but usually when you aren't around, she does the same thing. Why didn't you tell me anything? Because I know just how protective you are of me. I don't want you to damage your relationship with your mother because of me. I don't mind doing that because you mean the world to me. Besides, my mom's behavior was disgusting. It makes me feel ashamed that she's my mother, and she deserves to know that. No, I mean, if you do that, her behavior towards me might only get worse, and neither of us wants that. Why do you think her behavior will get worse? Well, When you're being protective of me, you tend to go crazy. When you're giving someone a piece of your mind, you can be very rude, and that will definitely hurt your mother. Not to mention, she'll probably think that I set you up for it. Okay, but she still needs to be talked to. I can't let her keep insulting you. How about I go over to her place this weekend and I'll talk to her? I'll try to find out why she doesn't like me, and we can deal with it together. Fine, but I want you to record that conversation. If she says anything out of hand, I will give her a piece of my mind. That's not any different from before. I'll record the conversation, but there will be no mean confrontation on your part. We'll figure out another way to deal with Celia. Fine, but I'm only doing this because I love you. If she does anything that's out of line, I will not hesitate to give her a piece of my mind. How about we cross that bridge when we get there? Until then, why don't you call your mom and ask her if I can come over? I would call, but I doubt she'd let me get a word in before hanging up on me. Okay, I'll be parked a block away, so if things get bad, I'll be able to get you in a jiffy. Thank you for trusting me, darling. I was nervous about meeting Celia for a one-on-one chat, but I figured that it was best to just clear out the air and move on. So I steeled myself up for the interaction and went there that weekend. Elliot kept asking me if I would like him to tag along, but I assured him that I didn't. I plucked up all my courage and knocked on her door. She took a good few minutes to open the door, and when she did not let me enter her house. Hi, Celia. What do you want? Well, I wanted to talk to you because I wanted to clear the air between us. Ugh, there's nothing to clear. There clearly is. You seem to hate me, and as far as I'm concerned, I did nothing wrong. But if I did do something wrong, could you please tell me so I can apologize and make up for it? If you want to know so bad, then fine. I don't like you because you're a liar. Excuse me? What did I lie about? You were a married woman before you met my son. How did you find out? It's not very difficult. All it took was a little research on the internet and some asking around. Well, that's a little weird, but how did being married before make me a liar? Does my son know? Because I know for a fact that he would never go for a used woman. Wow, there's so much wrong with what you said, but I'm going to ignore it for now. Elliot is perfectly aware of my past and is very supportive of me. Even if he wasn't, it wouldn't be any of your concern. Liar. I just know that you somehow tricked Elliot into believing that you being a divorcee is okay. Don't think that I'm not onto you. I did none of that. I made the fact that I was a divorcee abundantly clear at the time we met. Elliot still chose to be with me. Fine, but there's something wrong with you. Why would your ex divorce you? Firstly, I was the one who asked for divorce. Secondly, the reason for our divorce is also none of your concern. How is it none of my concern? You're with my son, and I need to know why you got divorced. I didn't want my son to marry some con woman. Celia, I mean this in the nicest way possible, but your son made his decisions. Trust in his ability to make judgments, because by treating me this way, you're just insulting him. How dare you accuse me of not trusting and insulting my son? You're the one doing that. Clearly this conversation is not going anywhere. You can believe whatever you want about me, but if you could please just be civil with me, that would be great. Don't try to con me. I will not let you get away with this so easily. I was so shocked by how Celia found out about my past. I made sure to ask Elliot not to tell her a thing, and she assumed that he didn't know. So I knew for a fact that he never spilled. So that would mean that she hated me enough to actually try her hardest to find dirt on me. The thought of that made me shiver. Elliot was obviously very upset when I played the recording of the conversation back to him, but I was honestly so terrified of Celia finding anything more about me that I convinced him to just let it go. Elliot wanted to storm into his mother's house and put her in her place, but he recognized that that would probably endanger me, so he let it go. He did, however, go low contact with her for the next month and a half. During that time, Elliot treated me like a princess to make up for Celia's ill treatment of me. And to make things better, he even proposed. I was genuinely so happy because I knew that I met the perfect match for me and that I was going to spend the rest of my life with him. Of course, we did not want to keep the news to ourselves, so the weekend after Elliot proposed to me, I convinced him that we needed to tell Celia about it because I didn't want any more drama. We went over to her place for dinner. Hi, Mom. Hi, sweetie. It's so good to finally see you after so long. Oh, yeah, the past few weeks have been crazy hectic with work and... And what? Elliot proposed. She said yes, we're getting married. What? Why? Because we love each other? I mean, what other reasons do people get married for? But you barely know her. Celia, we've been together for 3 years now. Yeah, I think I know her better than she knows herself. But she was married before this. Do you not think that there's a reason she got divorced? I don't think. There's a reason she got divorced. That's what I'm trying to warn you against. You don't know what you're getting into with this devil. You cut me off before I could finish saying what I wanted to say. I don't think there's a reason she got divorced because I know the reason. And you're still with her? Yes. You're being really disrespectful towards her. You better apologize. Why would I apologize when I know that she's tricking you? Why can't you see that all I want for you is the best? You can do so much better than her. That is enough. Hope has tried her best to deal with your insults and has always held me back from saying anything because she didn't want my relationship with you to get damaged. But you're being beyond disrespectful, and I want you to apologize to Hope, or I will not invite you to our wedding. You can't do that. I'm your mother. Apologize, or I will do that. Fine. I'm sorry for being so crass and rude, Hope. It's okay. I hope that we can develop a healthier relationship now. Just give me a chance and maybe you'll understand why Elliot wants to be with me. Yeah, I'm sorry I was so pig-headed about all this. I just want Elliot to be happy, and if he's happy with you, good. I was surprised that Celia caved so easily, and I wondered briefly if I was wrong for not letting Elliot interfere at the start. Clearly, she cared a lot about Elliot, so she was willing to let go of anything just to be in contact with him. Anyway, Celia's attitude towards me actually got better after that. She became really nice and welcoming. She treated me well and even helped pay for some costs of the wedding. I actually thought that our relationship was going in a better direction, and I was excited about it. Elliot and I's wedding was the best day of my life. It was amazing to be surrounded by family and friends and to be celebrated in that manner. Celia even called me the daughter she never had in her toast, and that made me cry a little. For the next year, Celia was an amazing mother-in-law. So when it came time for Elliot and I's first wedding anniversary, I enlisted her help with planning a party for us. She helped me book tickets to fly my parents out and invited all of the guests so Elliot and I had time to focus on us. I also wanted to surprise Elliot, so on the day of our anniversary, I went over to her place to get some old photos of us that we had kept there when we downsized to a smaller apartment. Imagine my shock when I saw my ex-husband Brad's car in Celia's driveway. Now, you must be wondering how I knew it was his car. He has a vintage car that's very distinct. Not to mention, I knew his number plate. I felt bile rise up in my throat, but I knew better than to get affected immediately. I felt anger rising through me, but I figured I'd give Celia a chance to explain herself, so I walked up to her door and knocked. Oh, hi, Hope. What are you doing here? I thought we were meeting at yours later on in the evening. We are. I just swung by because I wanted to gather some of Elliot and I's old pictures to hang as decorations. Oh, that's really cute. Come on in. I'll get them for you. What's wrong? Nothing. It's just I see there's a car in the driveway, so you have a guest over and I don't want to intrude. Oh, no, don't worry. That's just a friend of mine. She finally came into town after months of begging. Oh, that's nice. Are you close? I'd like to think we are. How long is she here for? Because if she's staying with you, you could bring her over for dinner today. She'll be here for the rest of the week. I was actually just about to ask you if I could bring her along, so thanks a lot. Of course. Do you think I could meet her? No. Oh, is there something wrong? No, it's just that she's napping right because she drove a long way. You'll definitely see her tonight. Okay, I hope she'll have a good time. I'm sure she will. In fact, she'll have such a good time. You'll feel like you're having a bad time compared to her. Oh, wow. I'll make sure to chill another bottle of wine then. Yes, please do. It'll go really well with the night. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Let's go find your pictures quickly so you can leave and set things up for the party. I tried my best to keep a straight face as Celia led me into the basement to get the pictures I came for. I don't remember much of what happened next because my panic began rising at the thought of being in the same house as Brad. I got out of Celia's place as fast as I could and sped away back home. Once I reached home, I just sat down for a bit and collected myself. I knew that Celia being nice to me was way too suspicious, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I was a fool, that was for sure, but I realized at that moment that I had the power to change things. So I rehashed my case file from the divorce case against Brad and pulled up all the evidence of his abuse. I put it all into a slideshow and decided to give Celia a taste of her own medicine. I knew that she was just grasping at straws to figure out the reason for my divorce, and this was going to be her way of exposing me. I was going to give her hell for jeopardizing my safety. I didn't tell Elliot a word because he would have confronted Celia right then and there, but I wanted her to be humiliated. When it came time for the party, Celia arrived an hour late and brought Brad along with her. Elliot was stunned, but before he could react, I grabbed his hand and announced to all the guests that I had a slideshow made. I told everyone that it was thanks to Celia that I was able to make the slideshow, and I wanted everyone to see it. Well, the entire room gasped when they saw all the evidence and then saw Brad and Celia. Now, Elliot knew what had happened to me, but he never saw any of this evidence. Seeing it only enraged him even more, so much so that I had never seen him that angry. Brad looked very uncomfortable and Celia looked pale as a ghost. The room was pin-drop silent as Elliot approached Celia. "Mom, care to explain why you brought Hope's criminal husband here?" "I didn't know he was a criminal." "Okay then, what did you think you were going to accomplish by bringing her ex here?" "I just wanted to prove a point." "You sabotaged our celebration of being married for a year just to prove some stupid point?" "You don't understand." "Oh, I think I understand perfectly. You don't like Hope, and you thought this was going to be your way to get rid of her." "Well, obviously you married her against my wishes. I had to humiliate myself and apologize to her just so I could attend your big day. Do you not see what she's done to you?" "I see very clearly what she has done to me. She taught me to not be a carpet for you to walk all over, so you can get whatever you want." "See? You would never talk to me this way before, and now it's like all you ever want to do is disrespect me." "Why would I respect you when all you ever do is disrespect my wife, which by extension is disrespecting me?" "I have never disrespected you, Elliot." "You did it the second that you brought this scum into my home." "I didn't know about his past, I swear." "Even so, did you not stop to think how this would embarrass me? You thought about getting back at Hope, but what about me? That only shows me that you only care about being right and not about me at all." "Elliot, that's not true at all. I just wanted to open your eyes to Hope's true nature. I was really wrong, and I'm sorry. Hope, could you forgive me? If you do, maybe Elliot will too." "Celia, you went behind my back to not only find my ex-husband, but also invite him to my home. Did you even know why I ran here? I didn't want him to know anything about me anymore. You meddled in my life in the worst way, and this is the consequence that you have to deal with. Elliot is more than capable of making his own decision about how he wants to treat you from here on. Don't involve me in this." "Please, I'm really sorry. I swear I'll be good to you, Hope." "Just stop. Stop talking to my wife. Stop talking to me and stop coming to our home. I want you out of our lives for good. There's nothing you can do or say that will change this. You can't do that to your mother. Watch me. I was just so incredibly glad that Elliot was on my side. All my worries eased up, and I was happy that I would no longer have to deal with Celia's awful behavior. Celia tried to beg Elliot some more to forgive her, but he wasn't having any of it. She then turned to me and began cussing me out in front of everyone for sabotaging her, but I just reminded her that she was the one that started it. Eventually, Elliot had enough of her and asked her to leave our house. When she refused to leave, Elliot abruptly called an end to the party, grabbed my hand and took me upstairs to our bedroom. He locked the door and waited for everyone to leave. Of course, I felt bad that we did not get to properly wish our families goodbye, but thankfully my parents helped kick Celia out. Of course, Elliot and I did end up celebrating our anniversary properly afterwards. The next night, the two of us went out to a fancy restaurant for dinner, and the following weekend we hosted another small dinner just for our closest friends and family. Things have been going relatively well after that. Celia kept trying to contact us, but Elliot blocked her everywhere and had me do the same. He informed all of his family and my family members that if anyone tried to talk to us on her behalf, we would no longer be in contact with them. I did think that he was going a bit overboard with it, but he reminded me that Celia had endangered me, and she felt no remorse until he was the one to put her in her place. Even then, she felt bad, only because she was losing her son and not because she put me in harm's way. Elliot was not wrong, so I trusted him to make all the right decisions. I just followed through with it all. It's been a few months since all of this happened, and I found myself being happier than I was before. I no longer had to deal with Celia, and it was like a weight was lifted off my chest. Elliot and I will be moving again, not only because Brad knew where I lived, but also because Elliot didn't want his mother to be anywhere near him. We found better jobs in another state, and we'll be moving within the next month. I can't wait to see what more life has to throw my way, because no matter what it is, at least I know that Elliot will be by my side. Cheers!